Today I'm talking about something that's fundamental for all musicians. Really, whether you're a composer, an arranger, an improviser, a songwriter, we're going to be talking today about how to resolve scales. Very simple 5/1 resolutions done melodically. Now, a couple of notes. If you're an advanced player, if you don't even like the concept of talking about scales in music, this video isn't going to be for you. This is a beginners only video for people who really want to know some of the nuts and bolts, the building blocks of melodic content and how to create tension and resolution. Another note, there's a PDF that goes along with it. That's yours to keep, take home with you. You can find that in the description here. So check out that PDF. Everything we're doing is going to be on screen as we go through it today, but if you want to refresh yourself afterwards with the PDF, please take that with you. And as always, everything we do is sponsored by Open Studio. Thank you, Open Studio. Let's get to it. So I want to talk about resolving scales. What does that mean? Aren't all scales resolving scales? In a sense, yes, but there's a very specific way that we can use scales to help us resolve our 5/1 resolutions. Now, everybody knows, right? 5/1 resolutions, G to C in the key of C, right? Like a G7. It's one of the first chord changes we learn, if not the first chord change we learn, all over music, all over, time and space, all over music. So it's just one of the most powerful grounding chord progressions that there is. So there's all kinds of ways we can resolve it amongst the chord, but what about when we're putting melodic notes in space? One of the things that we want to work on is timing our resolutions with our quarter notes, our eighth notes, our 16th notes, so that we can hit the strong points of the chord when they happen. So here, how do we get from our 5 chord, G, to our 1 chord, C, melodically? Now, there's a million ways to get there, but today we're just going to be talking about, again, the most basic versions of these. These are so great for things like, like I said, improvising, composing, arranging, and it goes across all kinds of music. It's just really foundational, fundamental things to know. And once you know this, then you can kind of play around with it, right? Then you can get creative with it. But this very easy, basic version can be very handy, especially when we're improvising on tunes. So where do we go? How do we get here in the key of C from our G, our 5 chord, to our C melodically? Well, the first way we can go is root to root. This is all about timing and all about space. So here we have our G7 chord to our C chord. I'll use a little C6 chord, right? We can literally time out the root down the scale, right? Just down that G mixolydian, which is part of the C major scale. Going down, we can just resolve it right there, root to root. We could also resolve it going up. Now, going up doesn't line up as perfectly. We could, as Barry Harris might, start inserting chromatic notes, but let's stay diatonic. Let's stay in the key here, and we're going to jump above our target, root to root, to the diatonic tone above C, which is our target root, and go root to root. So going down, we go from root to root. It lines up just nicely there, da 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 da, right on the beat. And then going up, it doesn't resolve as nicely, but knowing that, we can kind of make some preparations for that, some plans for that, and resolve it. It just, these are so, you can already hear, right? Just the first one, how handy this is to know. And by the way, if you're doing something like a 2/5/1, it works the same way. You can go root to root to root, and all the other variations that we'll do today. Again, this is beginners only here. We're just doing the most basic versions of this, but knowing this can really help us in our beginning improvisation, in our beginning composition, in anything that we need to compose voice leading to. This is the first step of that. Okay, so there's some root to root 5/1 resolution. We can also go third to third. We can go every note of these triads, a G triad to a C triad. You could actually do more, but again, we're going to keep it basic today. So third to third, right? We have that third of G, the second note of that G triad, down. And again, going down, it resolves just perfectly. Perfect for improvisation, perfect for counter melodies. You see arrangers use these kinds of things in like the inside movers of, if you have a melody on top, just works out perfectly to give some nice stepwise movement. And we can do the same thing going up. It's the same formula there where we have to go above going up. We could, again, add a chromatic tone. That works too, but let's stay diatonic. Let's stay in the key of C. And we can go third to third going up. Again, in my left hand here, I'm just playing a very simple 5-1, G7 to C voicing, C major 6 voicing, technically. But there it is, third to third. Okay, what about fifth to fifth? Same thing. It lines up perfectly. And then going up, same thing. We have to go above it. So knowing this, when we're improvising on a 5-1, we can start understanding that if we're going down and we're on any part of that G triad, that 5 triad, it's going to line up perfectly with the 5 of our target, of our tonic. And if we're going up, we need to go above it. It's a sound you hear all the time, especially like bebop musicians, people like Clifford Brown, Sonny Rollins, past bebop, stuff like that. Like all through that, straight ahead period, this is used all the time there to get that sound. So that's third to third, fifth to fifth, root to root, of course, and you can use all of these in conjunction, and it works over and over again. As long as there's like a 5-1 thing happening, this will work every time. As long as you pick the right scale and then pick your target notes, this basic way to resolve scales is so fun. Again, if the idea of scales in music at all gives you, hives, just don't worry about it. Just do your own thing here. But this can be very, very practical, very, very handy, especially for beginner musicians who are a little bit scared of theory. This is music theory here, but in a very basic way. Okay, so that's how we do a major scale. That's really straightforward, right? Root to root. Going down, it just lines up perfectly down the scale. Going up, we have to surround our target from above, whether we're root to root, third to third, or fifth to fifth. It's the same either way. What if we're going to a minor? So we're going to use a little bit of popular music theory here. So what if we go to the relative minor of C, right? Something you hear a lot in compositions and songs. A tune in C might move on to that A minor as a tonic, right? That A minor is now like the 1 of the minor. So here we'd go E7 to A minor, right? Here's our E triad of E7 to our A minor. How do we get from here to here? Well, it's the same thing, but we have to use a good sounding scale, and we can pick here a great sounding scale if we use the A harmonic minor scale. So the A harmonic minor scale is A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, right? There's this little minor third there. We can use this, our A harmonic scale, as the 5 scale, right? So if we start on E and we go down that A harmonic minor, look at this, root to root. And I have that little E7, flat 9, flat 13, because that's the chord symbol that lines up with this scale. If we go up from here, we go up that A harmonic minor. And we have to, again, just like we did in the key of C from G7 to C7, how when we went up, we had to surround it. We had to go above it diatonically. Same thing here. So we have to go above it if we want to line up on the strong beats, which, by the way, you don't have to do. You don't have to line up on the strong beats, but if you want to know how to do it, this is a great, efficient way to do that. Right? Root to root, down, up. It works out so perfectly. What about third to third? Oh, it's root to root. Here's third to third. It's, again, the same principle. Going down that A harmonic minor, and we land on our A melodic minor for a minor. Going up, we have to do the same thing where we go above our target, third to third, above. You can hear how, like, there's a lot of like Sonny Clark in this, you know what I mean? Bud Powell. And then we can, of course, do the same thing, fifth to fifth. So down this E7, down the A harmonic minor scale, we can go fifth to fifth, the 5th of E7 to the 5th of A minor. And above, the same thing, where we have to surround it from. Again, so take this through. Some tunes, maybe like Softly as in a Morning Sunrise. Like anything, go third to third, go fifth to fifth from the G7. You hear Sonny Clark do that on Softly as in a Morning Sunrise, as a matter of fact. Using that, in this case, it would be C harmonic minor on that 5 scale to get to resolve. So that's it. We want to go just the notes of the triads, right? Again, in C, that's taking all the notes of that G triad and resolving them root to root, third to third, 5 to 5. By the way, there's ways to resolve like root to third, or third to root, or third to 5. There's ways to do that too, but this is just the most basic version. And actually, why I didn't want to get too far into those is this is months worth of work. Just going root to root, third to third, 5 to 5 from 5/1 chords. It's a lot of fun, and it's really fun just to see in different keys on different tunes how it lines up. So I encourage you to just practice with it, just fool around with it, really. So that triad, G triad to C, is in the C major. If we want to go to a minor, we can go our E triad to our A minor, root to root, third to third, 5 to 5, and we just use that A harmonic minor leading down to our A melodic minor. The melodic minor, of course, it has a natural 6th and a natural 7th. So it's a little bit different, but similar flavor there. That's it for today. Very short one, but I think a very handy one. So thanks very much for joining me today. Again, download that PDF here. That's yours to take home. It's got everything that we have right here. And until next time, happy practicing. Thanks, y'all.